Hi everyone, it's Chris here. This is the second video in a two-part series on referencing in Harvard style, and in this video we're going to be looking specifically at the list of references. Okay, so the list of references is a list of all of the sources cited in the report. So all of your in-text citations should then appear in the list of references written in full, all of the bibliographic details. And we'll have a look at what those are in a moment. Now it should be put on a separate page at the end of the document. The only exception to that is the appendices, if you have one, that will appear after the list of references, but otherwise, generally speaking, they appear at the end of the document. You need to use the heading references. So even though when we talk about the references, we sometimes refer to it as a list of references or reference list. The heading is just references. There's also a distinction between references and bibliographies, and that's described in the introduction to the Harvard Referencing Style Guide. So I encourage you to read that introductory section. In terms of formatting, we use single spacing and leave a blank line between entries. Some different referencing styles may do things differently, but the style that we're using formats it this way. You need to put entries in alphabetical order, so from A to Z, and use the same font and size font as the assignment itself. Now, further details on exactly how to format your list of references is described in the Harvard Referencing Style Guide in the introductory section, so I'd encourage you to please read that. Okay, so here's an example of what a reference list might look like. So the title references, and then we have the entries themselves. There are 4 entries here, and you can see that they're formatted in a particular way. Now, it's important that you follow the CQ University Harvard Referencing Style Guide because that's the style that we're using. You may see the references written elsewhere in a particular way, but please don't follow that because they may do something slightly differently. Make sure you follow the Harvard Referencing Style Guide. It's very prescriptive in the way that you are required to set things out. If you follow that, you shouldn't go wrong. So that said, sometimes the challenge can be to actually find the details in the first place. Now, for books, you would generally check the cover, the title page, and the verso, or the copyright page. And so here we have an example. So the book is called Social, Ethical and Policy Implications of Information Technology, and the authors are Linda L. Brennan and Victoria E. Johnson. Now, most of the information that you need will be found on this page here, and I've summarized them as they appeared on the book here. So the authors, Linda L. Brennan and Victoria E. Johnson. The year of publication is 2004. The title is written there. The publisher, Information Science Publishing, and the city where it was published was Hershey, PA. Now, not too many people know where Hershey is, so we would list the abbreviation for the state there. If you had a place like Sydney or Melbourne, people generally know where they are, so you don't need to list a state. But if it was somewhere that was less well known, then you would list a state. We don't list the country of publication, just the town, and if necessary, the initials for the state or the abbreviation for the state. So in the in-text citation, it would appear like this. Brennan and Johnson, 2004. You would also have page numbers if they were relevant, but only the author's family names, no initials. Whereas in the list of references, you have the complete details. So Brennan, comma, LL. So even though on the book it says Linda L. Brennan, you would write it here as Brennan, comma, LL, then use the ampersand or the and symbol, Johnson, comma, VE, and then we have the date of publication, 2004, and the title of the book. Now again, in the title of the book, they use maximal capitalization. So capital letters for S for social, capital E for ethical, capital P for policy, and so on. But when we write it out, we use minimal capitalization for the title of the book. So social, ethical, and policy implications of information technology, using only a capital S for social, and the title of the book goes in italics. Then we have the publisher. Now the publisher, on the other hand, uses maximal capitalization. So all of the words are capitalized, except for prepositions, words like in, of, and so on. And then we have the place of publication, Hershey, and as I mentioned, you would also list the state, PA. Full stop. That's the end of that entry. All right, so here's some examples. These slides are available on Moodle, so you can go through and test yourself. If you put it in presentation mode, you'll see the details there. You can practice writing them out, and then you can check your answer. Okay, so this one, Martin E.P. Seligman, PhD. PhD is the author's qualifications, and there is a foreword written by Dr. Anthony Kidman. The title, Learned Optimism, publisher Random House Pty Ltd. There are 5 places listed on this publication: Sydney, New York, Toronto, Auckland, and London. And it was published in Australia in 1992. But we write Seligman, MEP. We don't list the author's qualifications. 1992, Learned Optimism. The title of the book goes in italics. And we use minimal capitalization. So even though it's written on the book as maximal capitalization, we use minimal when we're writing the title. Publisher, on the other hand, we use maximal capitalization. We don't need to write PTY and LTD. And when there are several places listed for the place of publication, you choose the first one that is listed. So in this case, Sydney, full stop. Okay, now referencing journal articles, you'll generally need to look for the author's name, year of publication, title of the article, and the journal title, and the volume number, issue number, and page numbers. Hard copy journal articles, you'll check the front cover of the journal and the first page of the article itself. Whereas electronic articles, and these are probably more common these days, you'll check the database citation, and that'll usually have most of the information anyway, but you may also need to check the first page of the article itself. So here's an example of a hard copy journal. It might look something like this, and within that journal, that particular issue, there'll be a number of articles written by different authors. But most of what you'll be doing these days is finding electronic journal articles, and you'll have most of the information on the page itself. So it might appear here, that would be the title of the journal. That's the volume number. Elsewhere you might find the title of the article, the authors. Okay, so here we have journal name, volume number, issue number, year, article title, page numbers, and authors. So we list them in this order. Authors: Thorpe, M, and Goodwin, S. 2006, and the title of the journal article goes in inverted commas. So we use an inverted comma here. Interaction and e-learning, the student experience. So all of this uses minimal capitalization, inverted comma, and then we have the title of the journal itself. So Studies in Continuing Education. Note that we use maximal capitalization for this. Then we list the volume, and we write it this way: VOL, full stop, space 28, comma. This is the issue number, NO.3, comma, and PP. PP stands for pages. If there's only one page, it's just P. So PP dot 203 to 221, full stop. And that's how we write a entry for a journal article. Alright, so here's an example of one. So Stuart Jones, Alison D. Higgins, and then we put the article title there, a long article title. Australia switched to International Financial Reporting Standards, perspective from accounting preparers. Journal title, Accounting and Finance, volume number 46, issue number 4, page numbers 629 to 652, and the year of publication was 2006. So it would appear like this: Jones, S, and Higgins, AD. 2006, Australia switched to International Financial Reporting Standards, a perspective from accounting preparers. So again, minimal capitalization. We put the title of the article in inverted commas, and then following that we have the title of the journal itself, Accounting and Finance, using maximal capitalization, and then the volume, issue number, and pages are written in this format. Okay, there is another one here that you can have a look at online. We'll just move on to referencing web pages. So you'll need to look for the author's name, year of publication, title of the article or page, title of the site, if applicable, publisher of the site, if applicable, the date you accessed it, and the URL. So that's the website address. Now, a few things to consider when referencing web pages. You need to consider whether the site is credible. There is a huge variation in location of publication details, so check copyright, about this site links, last updated links, and so on. You may need to go to the home page for the author or publisher. So here's an example we've got from the World Wildlife Fund, published in 2008 or last updated in 2008. The title of the page is Endangered Species, and the date that it was viewed was the 18th of February 2013. So it would be written like this. The author is World Wildlife Fund, and then we have in brackets WWF, the abbreviation, 2008, and the title of the page is Endangered Species. And that's listed in italics using minimal capitalization. Then we have the date that it was viewed. So viewed 18th of February 2013. We list that because sometimes websites change. So we need to list the date that we looked at it, and that's the date that we saw it. So following that, we have the web address, and that link can be live so that the readers can look up the source for themselves. Okay, so that's a basic introduction to reference lists. More information can be found in the TW Study Guide, and there is complete information in the Harvard Referencing Guide. The introduction, pages 1 to 18, have some general information about formatting and various details of referencing itself. And then following that, there is numerous pages of examples. And this is really the guide that you need to be able to use to write your reference lists correctly. Okay, that's it for this video. I wish you all the best. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let us know, and we look forward to seeing you online again soon. Bye for now.